Oh, perfect.
Okay.
So because
Let's
I can't see, about how many
oh,
do we have
let
on?
me tell you who all we have. We have David, we have Elizabeth, Marjorie, Peter, and Marion. Um, Aaron, Arun, I'm not sure how to say that. I apologize. I'm gonna mess that name up. James Mitchell, Kevin, Moran, um, Margaret, Shauna. I think that's everybody.
Okay.
Yes. So 8, not counting me and you.
Well, that's very low. So I'm wondering if we should just give a couple more minutes, and I wish
Yeah.
I could see the report where these are, but I'll take a look. But it's okay because we're going to record it and I'll make sure everybody gets a recording.
Yeah. And Effie, if you want, I mean, we can always, I know they're leaving pretty soon, but we can always do it again if you
Okay.
want to answer
Okay.
any questions. I mean, I'm more than happy to do that. So,
Thank you, Mary.
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. We'll record it, but then, people might have questions. So if we want to do it again next week or something, absolutely we can do that.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
not a problem.
Well, just so we respect everybody's time, I say let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on the call, it's a little wonky this time because I can't see your faces, but it's okay. This is Mary Trotter. She's my business development manager with Viking Cruises, and she has graciously offered her time today and myself because we know you guys might have some questions about your upcoming Grand European tour. So, and then many of you kind of wanted to know who else from Trilogy or Incantera were going to be on the trip. And unfortunately, due to, privacy things, we can't really pass out lists. I forgot who asked me for a list about a month ago because she wanted to have like a get together, and I begrudgingly gave her the list, and she said she hardly knew anyone on the list, so she was just going to stick with her friends and just do it like that. So my apologies that I can't pass out a list, but kind of when we're on here, you'll kind of know if some of your friends are joining you on this upcoming Grand European tour. So I'm going to have Mary kind of go over the itinerary with you, kind of talk to you about those. She doesn't know who has pre and post. She doesn't know any of that. So, but if you have any specific questions about that at the end, we can answer those questions for you. Um, but I think let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But I want to kind of go over I'm going to show you the ship itself. And I'll actually share with Effie also. There's a really great video that's about 4 minutes long, but for the sake of time, I was not going to have here and sit here and have us watch it. But it just kind of gives you like kind of the feeling of what it's like to be first time on a Viking River cruise. But just to kind of go over what the ship looks like, what to expect. We'll go through each port of call, and then I did add information about our pre and post extensions. Again, I don't know what everybody is doing exactly because different people are doing different things, but we'll go over kind of how that works and give you a great little idea on that. So, just kind of to give you an overview of who Viking is, just a quick little this is who Viking is, because I think sometimes people think we're just river cruising, but we are all of these things. We're river, ocean, expedition, Mississippi. So we started on rivers. And just so you have an understanding of just how many river cruise ships we have, this is always a good thing to know before going on one of our cruises. We have about 80 river cruise ships in Europe. So when you are in Europe on your Viking River cruise, you're going to see a lot of Viking ships. I wanted to share this just so you can see, like, you're going to see a lot of Viking ships along your journey. So we've been in the business 27 years. We've been doing this for a long time, 27 years just on the European rivers. So really have grown quite large to over 100 ships now with adding our 10 ocean ships, our 2 expedition ships, and our 1 Mississippi ship. So this is all the places we go all over the world. So lots and lots of options, lots of things to choose from. I actually do and have been to many of the ports that we are going to talk about on the Grand European Tour. I've been to most of them. So I can really talk pretty intelligently about all of those. But I just kind of show this sometimes because I had someone ask me the other day about a specific itinerary. I don't even remember where. It was somewhere different. And I said, I haven't been there. And they're like, I can't believe you haven't been to all of the places that Viking goes. And this number is why there's no way I could go to all of the places that Viking goes, because we do go to 7 continents and 85 plus countries. So we're all over the world with all of our products. And then just so you kind of have an understanding of who Viking is, we we aren't like other cruise lines. We're very focused. We are adults only, so you won't see any kids on board. They do have to be 18 or older to travel with us, and everyone will be English speaking. So all the crew will speak in English. They have to speak in English to each other. All of the tour guides will speak English. We focus on mature couples that are interested in history, culture, geography, and the arts. So that's our big focus. We really focus on kind of 55 and up for our primary demographic. And that's, also leads us into, we're very destination oriented. So everything we do on the ship, off the ship is very focused on that destination. So even your dining, that's going to be focused on the destination. We do locally source the ingredients. So you're going to have those fresh regional specialties, those authentic dishes when you're on board. So you're always going to have each day, depending on which port you're at, you will have different types of food based on the port that you're at. And then you'll have at least once during your cruise, like a really great taste of event. I believe on the Grand European Tour, they do like a taste of Germany. So the servers, the men will put on their lederhosen, the women will wear their drindles, and you get like this whole platter full of all kinds of different German food to try. So we always make sure that you're able to really get some samplings of that area that we're in. Now, as I mentioned, the menu, it's different based on where we're located. There are 3 items that always stay the same on our menu. And I always mention it because sometimes we get people that aren't as adventuresome in eating, and maybe you look at the menu and you're like, I don't love all of and you get several options. I don't love all these options, but you can always fall back on 3 American classics. So on the left-hand side of the menu, every single night, you're going to see a roast chicken, you're going to see a steak, and you're going to see a Norwegian salmon. So you'll always have those items to choose from. And then, of course, all the regional fare as well. Now, this is what's going to be included. And I know a lot of you have been working on your shore excursions, so you know about this already. You have your 1 shore excursion at each port of call. So let's talk about that shore excursion, how that kind of works on your itinerary. So many of your stops on the itinerary, you'll arrive early in the morning. Typically, that included excursion is in the morning, and you probably have seen that as you've been booking your excursions. So typically, the included one is in the morning. They are often a walking tour because as we look at more and more pictures of a Viking cruise, and as you've probably seen in kind of researching yourself, we are docked right there at the heart of the city. If you think about the way that that the cities were built, they were all built along where transportation was, and the transportation was the rivers. So you will often just be walking right off the ship. You'll join your tour group and then head straight to your tour. It's often a walking tour. So one thing that people ask me a lot about their shore excursions is, what time do I need to leave my room to get to my tour? Well, I say always show up a few minutes early because you don't want to miss your tour. But you can make it from your room to outside where your tour group is meeting in less than 5 minutes. It's not like ocean cruising. You're not having to go, run through a port and run through these security areas. You're right there. You walk straight out the door. They're right there. So it's really, really easy to meet your tour guides. Any optional shore excursions, a lot of times there are some that happen during the day that start in the morning and will go all day, but there are quite a few that happen in the afternoon. So if you still are looking for something to do in the afternoon, you can look at doing an optional shore excursion, or you can just explore on your own. I do that quite often when I'm doing like the included excursion in the morning, and then in the afternoon, there's, go back into town and kind of revisit some places that maybe I saw on the tour. So that's one thing I do quite often. And then, of course, all of your meals at both of our dining venues, those are going to be included. You have your wine, beer, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner included. Now, outside of lunch and dinner, or if you want a cocktail, that would be at an additional charge. So you can purchase it a la carte, or as some of you probably have already done, you can purchase our Silver Spirits beverage package. So that is, let's see, just $25 per person per night. And I haven't done the math what that is for the 14 nights, but it's $25 per person per night. So really inexpensive in the overall scheme of things if you wanted unlimited drinks. Now you are in the heart of the city. So a lot of people don't always purchase that package. They'll just buy something a la carte because they might be going into the city quite often. We are usually in port, and we'll get into this a little bit more, usually until around 7 o'clock every evening. In larger ports, we will stay until late into the evening, till 11 o'clock or so. But you can also pick up some wine while you're in town. If you're at a wine shop or you go on a winery tour, feel free to grab some bottles of wine. You can bring that back on board the ship with you. We're not going to hold on to it till the end of the cruise. You can take that to your stateroom. You can feel free to have it in your stateroom or on your veranda, or you can bring it to the lounge, or you can bring it to dinner. We're more than happy to open that for you and serve it to you. We don't charge any kind of corkage fee. So feel free to bring that if you'd like. You also have specialty coffees and teas. So up on the third deck, and I'll show you a better picture of this, up on the third deck, there are these little stations on each side of the entrance to the lounge that we have a coffee and specialty tea maker there. That's there available to you 24 hours a day. You can do that, have that all day long. We also always have lots of little cookies and snacks and things in that area as well. And then bottled water, we will keep you well hydrated. You'll have some bottled water in your room. Every time you leave the ship, they're going to hand you more bottled water. So we want to make sure you're hydrated. And then you'll have your free Wi-Fi so you can stay connected while you are traveling. You'll also have, if anybody's doing any pre or post extensions, we're using first class hotels for that. You'll also have movies on demand, CNBC, CNN, Fox. That's all going to be on your ship as well. And then, of course, your port charges and taxes were included. So here's what the ship looks like. You can see it here, right there at the heart of the city. So when I talk about we're right at the heart of the city, you're right there. You walk across the street, you're there, right in the heart of the town. And then here we are along the Danube River as we are sailing. So it's a very long ship, a long, narrow ship. Here we are along the middle Rhine. This is where you'll see all of the castles. So just to kind of give you a little overview of that. And then this is kind of the side view to see what the ship looks like, kind of what to expect. Those windows at the bottom, that's deck 1, that's your standard stateroom. And then the next 2 decks, that's deck 2 and deck 3. So anyone that's in a French balcony, veranda suite, or explorer suite, those are all up on those decks. You'll have then towards the front half of the ship, on the second floor, you have our main dining restaurant. The next deck up from that is our lounge. And then at the front, that is the Aquavit Terrace, our alfresco dining area. So here's some pictures of the ship itself. So you'll see lots and lots of windows, lots of light woods. A lot of river cruise ships can be very, very dark.
We're not seeing any pictures.
What was that?
We're not seeing any pictures yet.
Oh,
I can see the pictures.
I can see them.
I see
Okay.
pictures.
okay. All right. I'm not sure why you're not, but yeah, so this is the atrium. So lots of windows. I've been on a lot of river cruise ships, and I love that ours has lots of light because it doesn't ever feel dark. Sometimes river ships can feel a little dark, but lots of windows. This is that atrium area. This is where you do kind of your check-in areas in this area. Back behind those stairs is where the restaurant is. That picture you see at the top of the stairs, that is the only difference between the ship you're on and every other ship. Every ship looks exactly the same inside, except for the picture at the top of the stairs. The picture at the top of the stairs is a picture depicting the Nordic god that the ship is named after. So that is the only difference on the ships. They all look exactly the same. And then this is the main dining restaurant. It is called The Restaurant. If you've been looking and saying, do they not know that I know that's a restaurant? That's what it's called. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner here in the restaurant. It's open seating. You can sit wherever you'd like with whoever you would like. But really great there in the restaurant. And then we have the Viking Bar and Viking Lounge. So this is up on deck 3. So this is that lounge area, the bar area, and then your lounge area. We have a dance floor here. We have someone that plays the piano and sings while you're there on board. Sometimes they'll, they'll plug in their own music and be playing music for you to dance to. Sometimes they'll let you kind of take over and you can plug your own phone in and use your own music if you want. If you're really nice to them, they'll let you do that. And then we'll bring on some, destination performances. So musicians, singers, dancers, we'll do that throughout the cruise. And we usually have 1 or 2 fun trivia nights as well. And with a bunch of you from the same area from Trilogy, I think, you guys might get a little competitive. So that'll be really fun when you do those trivia nights for sure. Oh, also I should mention, we do all of our port talks. So every evening before dinner, people will come into the lounge. They'll have like a little pre-dinner cocktail, and our program director will come and tell you about what's happening the next day, where we're going to be, suggestions of what you might want to do the next day. And our chef will come out and give you his chef recommendations for dinner for that evening. So that all happens in this area. Any lectures or anything we have, that happens here as well. And then at the front of that deck, at the front of the ship, is the Aquavit Terrace. That's that rounded out portion. That's that alfresco dining area. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner here as well. It is the same menu as the main dining restaurant, so you're not going to miss anything if you choose to sit up here and have something, to eat there. If you are a little bit of a late riser, maybe you've gotten up early, went for a walk, and then came back, and you're not on that early morning tour, we do a late risers breakfast, or like a little continental breakfast in this area as well.
Mary, can I stop for 1 second?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you might want to plug your ears on this one, because I'm going to give them a little tip that you might not want them to hear. But the Aquavit Terrace is almost like when I was on my river cruise in December, we ate up there every single night because it was very exclusive and nobody knew on the ship that you could eat there for dinner. And so those of you that are on the call, or are on this trip, you'll know your guys are going to have to take turns, because to be back there, while you're, sailing is quite nice. And it's just very private. There's probably if they open up the terrace, there'll be more seating, but there was probably about 6 tables up there. So it was just really nice, if you want to have some friends up there and just have, dinner, with just a couple. They don't have large tables up there, so you can't do like a 6 top or a 10 top or anything like that. It's not like the regular cruise ships. The biggest table was probably 4 or 5. So I just kind of wanted to mention that.
Yeah, you're right, Effie. It holds somewhere between 25 and 30, because when we go as a sales team, we were on a little bit early for an event, and there's somewhere between 25 and 30 of us that were there, and we were using every bit of space. So yeah, so it is a small area. So it does feel very exclusive. I love eating up there as well. Good tip, Effie. So this is that sun deck area. So it's usually pretty empty throughout the day because everyone's out exploring and visiting the city. We have a little walking or jogging track up there. We have we grow our own herbs there. We have a couple little putting greens as well. So where this primarily gets used is usually that first night. Everyone rushes up after dinner because we've taken off and we're sailing, and everyone wants to see us go through the first lock. And then nobody really cares about the locks after that. They love that first one, and then, well, we've seen it, now we've seen it, been there, done that. We'll also use this area. There's a lot of times where we're doing some scenic sailing on this particular itinerary because there's some really pretty areas that we don't want you to miss. So that's built into the itinerary. Every night you're going to get a newsletter in your stateroom that'll show about all the activities that are happening the next day. So you'll know when this is happening, when we're doing the scenic sailing. Now, Effie, I think this has changed because you have not been on the ship in 2024. You went at the end of 2023, correct? Am I right, Effie?
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So our other ships, our ocean ships, our expedition ships, we were what were called quiet ships. So we never announced when tours were leaving because they were a little bit bigger ships. People really like that there's not someone constantly speaking over a loudspeaker. So we have gone to a quiet ship on our river ships. So we used to make these nonstop announcements about this tour is starting in 10 minutes. That's not happening anymore because we kind of figure everyone's adults. And if you want to go on the tour, you're going to show up in time. So it's a quiet ship now. You're not going to hear nonstop announcements. It's just some feedback we got from our guests. So as of this year in March, that's something we started doing. It was very strange for me because I was very used to them making these nonstop announcements while you're eating lunch, and it wasn't happening. And you know, lunch and breakfast you were constantly hearing, and it wasn't there. It was kind of nice to have it be quiet. So keep that in mind. You'll have everything, all of your. As we look at the staterooms, we'll talk about what's in your staterooms and what to look for. But you'll have all the information. You'll know what time you need to be where, so you're taken care of there. But when we do that scenic sailing, that program director, he's going to tell you all about all the sites that we are passing, and everybody comes up there to see that. And then this is what the rooms look like. So this is your veranda suite. You've got that full living room area with the full balcony, and then the bedroom area has a French balcony. So that's a sliding glass door that opens, but you can't actually step out. Then you have your veranda stateroom. So that is got that full balcony that you can step out onto. And then the French balcony is going to be that sliding glass door you can open, but you can't actually step out. And then last but not least is the standard stateroom down on deck one. That is your, you still have the window there. So things to note that are in your room. You see that bottle there over by the glasses. That's your bottled water. They will give you as many as you need. We make sure you're well hydrated, as I mentioned. You always start with one. By day 2, I had 2. I think by the end of the cruise, they were bringing me like 4 a day because I was drinking a lot of water plus the bottled water they were handing me when I went out. I drink a lot of water, so they keep you well hydrated. You'll also find on that ledge there, you're going to find your quiet box contraptions, your little quiet box units. So these are what you will need to take with you when you go on tours. So they're a little unit that you take that has like a strap, a lanyard to put around your neck. And you'll have a little earpiece that's just for you, and you'll put that earpiece in. You need to have that with you on the tour because that's how you're going to hear the tour guide, so that they're not yelling, so that you don't have to be right up against them to hear what they're saying. It's all going to come through that earpiece there. So you'll want to make sure you take that with you. You'll also have there, they'll give you all of your tickets for your tours. You're going to get these tickets to have your tour times, and all of that's going to be there. On your bed every evening, you're going to get a newsletter that's going to tell you about what's happening the next day. So just like on your ocean cruises, same kind of thing. So that's what you can expect to find there. Now, in your stateroom, just a couple of pieces that are attention to detail. You have heated floors in the stateroom. You're going when it's kind of warm, so you may not really care about the heated floors. If it was cold, you would care. But the mirrors are anti-fog mirrors, so that, you know, when you step out, you don't have to wipe the mirror down to see yourself. Also, all of our toiletries have large font so that you can see if you're using shampoo, conditioner, or body lotion when you are in the shower. Because I'm at that age now, I've got to wear my little readers when I'm reading small print, and it becomes more and more difficult when traveling to see what am I using in the shower. Is this shampoo? Is it conditioner? I'm not sure what I have. It's large font, so you can read it. So just those little pieces that are that attention to detail. So that's the ship. That's what the ship looks like. So let's look at the itinerary. So you're going on the Grand European Tour. You're starting in Amsterdam. You're ending in Budapest. So beautiful itinerary. I'm so excited for all of you. So here's what it looks like on the map. So you start day one, you're in Amsterdam. So you're going to arrive in Amsterdam. You can, that first day, if you were flying, so let's talk about for those that are flying in. We're going to talk a little bit more about pre and post at the end, pre and post extensions. If you are flying in the day the cruise leaves, so you're flying in the day of embark in August, you are going to get off the ship, get off the airplane, I should say. You're going to go through customs. As soon as you get your bags and you go through customs, right outside of there, you will see someone with a red Viking paddle. It'll say Viking. You won't be able to miss them. They're going to be right there. They'll have their Viking gear on, their red Viking gear, and you will check in with them. You're also going to, now, if you didn't get this, it's okay, because this has happened to me once before where I did not get my red sticker. So in the mail, Effie, have they gotten luggage tags yet? And
Not, they're just starting to come out.
okay, perfect.
They just started trickling, so you guys should be getting them in the next, I'd say, couple weeks.
Gotcha.
We got ours.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, good. Good. So you should have had in there some luggage tags. And then you also probably got some red stickers. If you read instructions, I'm not good at reading instructions, because the first time I went on a Viking cruise, I was like, oh, why would they send me a red sticker? I didn't read the instructions. The red sticker is for you to put on yourself after you get off the airplane so that they can identify you as, I'm a Viking guest. Here I am. Come find me. I'm going on this Viking ship. It's for people to help identify you. Now, some of the people at customs think it's funny to collect as many red stickers as they can, just to have a competition every day. I found this out recently in Amsterdam, that this is what they do. They have a competition every day to see who can get the most red Viking stickers. So if you happen to give your red Viking sticker up to a lovely customs agent because they're just trying to have a fun day, that's totally fine. We'll still find you. If you forget your luggage tags, that's fine, because I've done that before too. They have others for you. Don't worry about it. You're going to check in with the Viking rep. They are going to take you and your luggage and put you on a motor coach to then take you to the ship. So you'll go onto your Viking motor coach and you'll head to the ship. You'll arrive at the ship. You'll check in. And if your room is ready, which often they're usually ready pretty early. If your room is ready, then they'll go ahead and take you to your stateroom. If it's not quite ready yet, they'll take your luggage from you. And if you're really early in the morning, they might have breakfast there for you. Or at lunchtime, they'll have that lunch. You can go out and explore the city. And then when your stateroom's ready, they'll take you in. But often they're ready really early. So they will take you to that stateroom, and they're going to know you immediately. Like that first introduction, it's like they will know you after that. It's incredible how well they get to know everybody. They'll take you to your stateroom, and then you can spend the rest of the day exploring in Amsterdam. So lots of things you can do in Amsterdam. You can go and do a canal cruise. You can go to the Rijksmuseum. All kinds of great things to do. So day one on your own. Sometimes on day one, if you arrive really early, they typically might have a first day tour that's kind of like a last minute walking tour. So they might take you around the city a little bit. So that's just depending on the guests that are coming in and timing, but often they will do that for you. So day one, you're checking in, and then you head out down the river. So day two, you arrive in Kinderdijk, and Kinderdijk is beautiful. You've probably seen lots of pictures of Kinderdijk before. All the windmills and everything. It's 19 windmills. It's the largest concentration of windmills in the Netherlands. I'm going to save the reason for the windmills for when you get there, because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder for the tour. But there's a purpose for the windmills, and it was different than what I thought. So you'll find out all about this. People live in these windmills. So your included tour is going to take you. You're right there, actually. Just walk across the street up to the windmills, and you get to walk around and explore those. Take some great pictures. So that's your included tour. Then there's also, if you want to do an optional tour, there's Kinderdijk windmills by bicycle. So we do have a bicycle tour that you can take. Now, this is one that I did. If you're doing the Kinderdijk windmills and Dutch cheese making, This one is done a little differently. So we will stop in the morning and you will get off the ship if you're doing the Kinderdijk windmills and Dutch cheese making. This is an optional tour. So the first, you go and do some Dutch cheese making. And I'm not sure, sometimes they do it in the different directions. Sometimes you're in windmills and then Dutch cheese making, but usually it's Dutch cheese making first. So you'll go and go onto a bus and head to a local farm and see this little, little cheese farm. You'll learn how cheese is made. You'll see the cows. You're going to have the opportunity to sample all kinds of Gouda cheese, and you'll probably buy lots of it because I did. And then you'll head from there to Kinderdijk, and then you'll do that Kinderdijk windmills tour. So you're not going to miss that piece if you choose to do the Dutch cheese making too. It's going to be, you're going to see the windmills and you're going to do the cheese making. So that's a really fun tour. So then you head over to, oh, one thing I should mention, there is another Kinderdijk tour, Kinderdijk by Vintage Barge. So there are some vintage barges that you can take. There's canals along the windmills. That's an optional tour as well. And day 3 is Cologne, Germany. So you have a walking tour. So this is one you head right off the ship and you head into Cologne. You're right there in the heart of the city. You'll go and see the Cologne Cathedral. It's lots of great history there at the Cologne Cathedral. So that's your included tour. It's going to take you all around, show you all the great places to shop, give you lots of history lessons. Cologne is really interesting because it's a good portion of the city was ruined during World War II. So you'll see some newer buildings that came up, the 50s and 60s, and then you're going to see, really old architecture. So this is one of those cities you're going to see quite a mix of old and new. You also do have an optional tour that's the top of Cologne. That's going to take you up a staircase up to get an up-close view of those spires. So that's a lot of stairs. So that's an opportunity for you as well. And then here's just a better shot of Cologne there. And here is an up close of the cathedral itself. So lots of history here in Cologne. Another thing about Cologne is that you can we stay here until late into the evening because there's a lot to do in Cologne. So we do have some evening things that you can do, like the Cologne's beer culture dinner tour. So this is something you can do in the evening. It's an optional tour to try the Kolsch, which is the local beer that's brewed there just in Cologne. So you definitely may want to check that out. So there are some evening tours in Cologne. We will stay there, like I said, until late in the evening. Now, in the afternoon, after the Cologne walking tour, just some things you may want to do. This is actually a tour I did, was the Brühl UNESCO Palaces. This is the estate that was built for the Prince Archbishops of Cologne. So it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is an additional cost. They do it in the afternoon. So you can definitely do the included tour, the Cologne walking tour, and then do this in the afternoon. I did both. Actually, I think this was my crazy day where I did the included walking tour, the Brühl UNESCO Palaces, and then I did the Cologne beer culture dinner as well. So I had a full day that day. So this is a really great one. And then you'll also head over and see the Summer Palace as well. So you have some options in the afternoon in Cologne. And then we head to Koblenz, Germany. So this is day 4. In Koblenz, you're going to have a couple of options that people choose to tend to choose from. We have Marksburg Castle. This is just a beautiful castle up on a hill. Really, really, really interesting castle there. It's been around for many, many centuries. So you definitely don't want to miss that. This Koblenz was founded more than 2,000 years ago. So it's a very old city. And the Marksburg Castle was actually built in the 13th century. They began building it at that time. So yeah, so lots of history there. Lots of history. Then you have the Ehrenbreitstein Fortress. This is another option for you. This one is up high on a hill. This was kind of overlooking, the city. It's been here. This is a little bit newer. This one was built in the 19th century. So this is not a castle. It is a military fortress. So this is what they use to protect the city from the French. So you can you actually take a gondola up to this fortress. And then here's some more shots of the Koblenz. You can see here, this is where the rivers meet. So just a little view there of that. Then we head to Miltenberg, Germany. Now in Miltenberg, this is on the Main River. So you're heading on the Rhine into the Main into the Danube. So you get those three rivers. So you're going to sail along the Main River and you're going to head into Miltenberg. So lots of great opportunities here. You have your included tour that's going to give you a really great overview of the city itself. And then you have oh, one thing to mention, and I kind of forget this. I just saw a note for myself. So this is the Spessart region where the Main River, where Miltenberg, Germany is. This is actually the home of the actual Snow White. So there was someone that the story was based on, and this was the home of the actual Snow White. So just a little thing to know about. There's also a lot of glass blowing in this region. So there are some opportunities to see some glass blowing. You'll see Germany's oldest inn here. Here's that glass blowing. So, you know, that's always a great thing to see. You might want to pick up some blown glass while you're there as well. And then here are those, you know, the little charming little houses. So this is what you're going to see through your included tour. You're going to go into this little riverside village. It is a walking tour. So it's just a cute little town. I just love Miltenberg. It's so cute. So you'll tour Old Town and get a really great overview of that. Lots of flowers along the balconies and things. Very picturesque. Lots of great pictures here in Miltenberg. And you will see that oldest inn there as well. Then we head to Würzburg, Germany. Now Würzburg, this was it was heavily damaged during World War II, but it's really been restored quite a bit. It's a university city, so lots of college students around. You're going to see lots of the Baroque architecture throughout here, and a little bit of Gothic architecture is going to happen here as well. You're going to see the bishop's residence, which is Germany's largest and most ornate of the residences. There is some up close pictures of just how ornate things are. So on your included tour, you'll see the Würzburg residence, and so you're going to go in. This is considered a it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you'll go and be able to see the Würzburg Prince Bishop where he lived, and that is going to drive to that actually. So that was it's a very large, actually I see it's 6,400 square feet. I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, very beautiful palace, great architecture. And then moving on, just some more pictures of Würzburg. So very similar in style as the previous stop that we made, but you know, lots of great things to see here. It's so picturesque. And then here's the hike. So this one's going to take you to the Kapelle Church and Marienburg Fortress. So this one, you're going to climb the hills and head up to the fortress. So this one's going to be a little bit more demanding. So if you're doing that Marienburg Fortress tour, you do have to kind of walk up the hill to get to the fortress, but definitely great views once you get up there. You don't want to miss that. And then here's some more shots of the I'm sorry, we moved on. I thought we were still in Würzburg. Moved on to Bamberg, Germany. So Bamberg, Germany, very old city. It was founded in 902. It's still very medieval looking. It's known for its symphony orchestra. It's known for this for a specialty smoked beer. So they have a lot of little German towns have, you know, as you're aware, have very different types of beer. They have a specialty smoked beer there. So you'll want to definitely try some of that. So on your walking tour, you're going to see the 11th century cathedral while you're there, and get to see all these beautiful little town square areas. And then you can also go on in. This is just going to show you some more shots of Bamberg kind of from the overview. But it is, again, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lots of those in Europe. So you'll head to the Medieval City Center and see that, see the World Heritage Site of the city center. And then also you can go to the Franconian countryside. So this is going to take you to see this beautiful countryside here. So this is going to take you by bus here. This is actually home of 300 breweries. So you'll have the opportunity to sample some beer here. In day 8, we head to Nuremberg, Germany. So this was, you'll see the ruins of Zeppelin Field. This was the Nazi parade grounds of the 1930s. So you'll see that. You'll see the Palace of Justice, which was the site of the Nuremberg trials. You can also take an optional World War II tour. And so really lots of history, World War II history, obviously here in Nuremberg. And then here you go, some more shots of the city there. And that shows you where the Nuremberg trials were. And another shot as well. And then day 9 takes you to Regensburg, Germany. So Regensburg, Germany, love Regensburg. It's so cute. So you'll have your walking tour. It's going to take you all along Regensburg, all through the little city. And you're going to see lots of great places there. Now, one thing to know about Regensburg, it's actually the home of the oldest sausage restaurant in Germany. So it's actually one of Germany's best preserved cities. It was not hit very hard. Well, actually, it was untouched by World War II. So it is the best preserved city that you're going to see in Germany on this tour. So you're going to see some of the Roman city walls that were there. That bridge you're seeing there, that's the Old Stone Bridge. That's been there since the 12th century. And then, of course, the old sausage kitchen, Germany's oldest restaurant. Just a tip, Mary's tip for Regensburg, Germany. If you do go to that little restaurant, it's actually right next to Old Stone Bridge, just down from where your ship will be. If you go there, make sure you bring some euros with you because they do not take credit cards. It may have changed in the last year, but last year I showed up and they didn't want my credit card. They wanted cash. So make sure you have your cash. Just a little tip because I was surprised by that. So most places take credit cards, not a problem, but just make sure you have some euros for that. It's very inexpensive there. So you got to say you did it because it's the oldest German restaurant. So you got to check that out for sure. But beautiful, charming city there in Regensburg. Beautiful cathedrals for you to check out. Now, this is now actually in Munich. So you're going to head to Munich on an optional tour. So if you want to go to Munich, you can do that. Of course, you'll see Olympia Park, where the 1972 Olympics were. So that is an optional tour, is to go to Munich. And then day 10 is going to take you to Passau, Germany. This is the city of 3 rivers. This is where the Inn, the Ilz, and the Danube rivers all come together. So you're going to arrive there and you'll go through a guided tour through the town, lots of narrow little streets into Old Town, lots of traditional houses. You're going to see the new bishop's residence and St. Stephen's Cathedral. So beautiful town there in Passau. That you'll do in the morning. Now, if you are a Sound of Music fan, you may want to do the Salzburg Highlights Tour. That's an included tour or optional tour. This is going to take all day because it does take you a little time to get there. But if you want to go see where the beloved film, The Sound of Music, was set, or you want to see the birthplace of Mozart, then you'll want to go over to Salzburg. So that's what it's at the Passau, Germany stop. And then we do have a Bavarian Cruise and Baroque Town tour as well that is optional. So that one's going to take you as you drive through upriver along the Bavarian countryside. We also have the option to do bikes. So if you want to get on an e-bike and bike through Passau, that is an option for you as well. And then this one sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. I don't have any of you signed up to do this. This is to go see the castle. It's a plane. it's a plane excursion. It is a little pricier than other tours because you're taking a plane here. But this is the castle that inspired Walt Disney to build his castle.
Castle.
So if anybody has done that, usually we don't have a lot of people to do that because it is a little bit more expensive of a tour. But that is an option from Passau as well. And then here's some more shots where the rivers all come together there in Passau. Then we had day 11 in Melk, Austria. This is a really important wine growing region. So you'll see lots of hilltop castles here. This is where the Melk rivers and the Danube rivers come together. You're going to visit the Abbey at Melk, which is a 900-year-old monastery. You're going to see some really great Baroque architecture there. Here we go, so you can see what that artwork looks like. And then here's that hillside area, the Wachau Valley Winery. This is an optional tour. So if you're a wine connoisseur, this is a great tour to take. It's the Wachau Valley Winery tour. This is going to take you to sample some vintages throughout this local winery. Now, when we go on these winery tours, they are very exclusive wineries. I can't tell you it's this winery or that winery because they do vary, because we're not going to take everybody. We may have a couple of ships in town at the same time. We don't want everybody at the same winery at the same time because then it gets crowded. So you may be at one, somebody else might be in another one. So, but this is great wine here. It actually comprises 3% of the Austrian wine is made in this region. And then you're going to cruise through the Wachau Valley. This is just beautiful scenery you can just see from this picture. So we sail during the day on day 11. So you'll see that built into your itinerary. We actually cruise 18 miles through this World Heritage Site area where you see all these emerald green hills. Then we head to Vienna. So you're in Vienna. This is, of course, the Austrian capital. It's known as the city of waltzes. It's the center of classical music. Strauss and Mozart, they composed many of their pieces here. So everything is very centered around that. We have our panoramic Vienna tour is included. This is going to take you to Belvedere Palace. You're going to see Viennese gold. Lots of optional tours here. So here's just an overview of the city. So your panoramic Vienna is going to give you a really great overview of Vienna. It's a half-day tour. You do take a motor coach to this tour. And then if you want to see the Lipizzaner stallions, this is where you would do that. This tour does fill up quickly. This is an optional tour to see the home of the dancing horses. So I know a lot of people, that's something high on their list of things they want to do. In the evening, we do have a Mozart and Strauss concert. So a lot of people do like to go out and do this in the evening. We are there until late, until the next day. So you do have the opportunity to have dinner and then head out to the Mozart and Strauss concert, where you'll hear some works of both Mozart and Strauss as the musicians are in that vintage, era clothing. And then Schönbrunn Palace is also here. This is the residence of the Habsburgs. So this, again, is an optional tour. So this is something you could do the panoramic Vienna and then do this tour. So you have the option of doing both. So this is a great opportunity to see that palace. And of course, we always have that e-bike opportunity. So you will e-bike through Vienna's countryside. So it's an electric bike. So we do make it very easy for you to pedal, but you'll go along the Danube River and see all kinds of great sights throughout Vienna. And then day 14, your last day, will get you to Budapest. So of course you have the two sides, Buda and Pest. You'll have the Pest side. Pest side has the National Opera House, Heroes Square. In Buda, you'll have Castle Hill, Fisherman's Bastion, Matthias Church. So beautiful place there in Budapest. You do have the panoramic Budapest tour included. That's going to take you, all through Pest. You're going to see the Champs-Élysées. You're going to see the Hungarian State Opera House. Then you're going to drive to Hero Square. and see that. So you're going to kind of get to see everything. You're going to visit both the Buda side and the Pest side in the Panoramic Budapest included tour. And then there is the Hilltop District of the Hungarian capital with the great statues and things you'll see there. And then you do have Doheny Street Synagogue in Jewish Budapest. This is an optional tour. You can explore Budapest Jewish history here. You're going to go to Jewish Quarter and see the synagogue there. So that is a really great opportunity for you. And then we do have, of course, those thermal baths. A lot of people like to do that. We have the Budapest Thermal Baths tour, an optional tour. You can go and get to soak in those thermal baths that they say have those healing powers. So a lot of people, that's something they really want to do. It's high on the list of things that they always want to do in life. So you'll have that opportunity in Budapest. And then day 15, the cruise has ended. And unfortunately, everyone has to go home or continue on your journey if you're continuing on. So you'll get up in the morning and disembark. If you are headed home that day, then you will have your transfer. They'll let you know the night before what time you need to head out in the morning. They'll have some breakfast for you. Even if it's really crazy early in the morning, they'll have something there for you to eat. And then you'll head off on your transfer to the airport. So very, very easy. And here's just another shot of Budapest there for you. But on the pre and post packages, so just so you know kind of what is included if you've signed up for those. If you're doing the Amsterdam or Amsterdam Premium pre-tour, when you arrive at the airport, it's just like if you were arriving the day of the cruise, you're going to meet a Viking guide. That Viking guide is going to take you to your hotel. So day one's going to be completely at your leisure. So you can go and explore Amsterdam, go to the Anne Frank house, go to Museum Square, the Reich Museum. There is so much to do in Amsterdam. So that's at your leisure that afternoon, that evening, all on your own. The next day, you do have a tour in the morning. It's a walking tour. So it's a really great overview of Amsterdam. You're going to see quite a few sites. And then your afternoon, your evening will also be on your own. You will have breakfast included that day. And then day 3, you'll also have breakfast. And on day 3, they will transfer you from the hotel straight to the ship. And actually, the hotel they typically have you at is right by the ship. So it's a very easy transfer. The next one is the Hague and Amsterdam. So this one, you again get on your transfer, head to your hotel. It's a little bit longer transfer than if you were going to just the Amsterdam hotel. A little bit longer transfer. This is a 2-night as well. So first night on your own. And then in the morning, you are going to have a walking tour. It's going to take you all along the city. See lots of great sites there. And then in the afternoon, you'll be at your leisure, the afternoon and evening. Now, this is where it's a little bit different than Amsterdam, than the Amsterdam pre. On this pre, you're actually going to you'll head into Amsterdam in the morning, and you will have a stop on the way there at the Peace Palace. That was the home to the International Court of Justice. And then you will head on into Amsterdam, and there you'll take a scenic canal cruise. So you'll take that, everybody knows about the canal cruise in Amsterdam, so you'll do that, and then you'll transfer to your ship. So you will have a little time on your own in Amsterdam before you head to the ship. So that's your pre-packages. Your post-packages, you have Budapest. So on the Budapest one, it's 2 nights. You have 2 breakfasts included. This is completely on your own. So after you get off the ship, they'll take you to your hotel. You get 2 nights. So the rest of that last day you're on the ship, you'll leave, go to your hotel. You have that whole day to yourself, the next day to yourself, and then they'll take you to the hotel the last day. There's always a Viking guide that is at the hotel to help you, to tell you where you might want to go. So you'll always have that available to you. If you are doing Prague, this one, you're going to go to the Czech Republic's capital. You're going to, again, get off the ship. You're going to head over to the hotel in Prague, and you'll have that first day on your own. Day 2, you'll wake up. You'll have your breakfast at the hotel. You'll have a panoramic tour of Prague. There you'll see the Prague Castle, get a really great overview of Prague. The next day is the rest of the day is on your own to explore. Day 3, also full day on your own because the Prague is 3 nights. All the others have been 2 nights. 3 nights on your own that third day. Then the fourth day, we take you to the airport. So those are your pre and post. I know that was a lot. We went through a lot of things. Does anybody have any questions about anything? And if you're muted, you can just unmute yourself.
I've got a quick question. This is Jim
Uh-huh.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
We're going to be in town prior on our own, not with a Viking thing.
Uh-huh.
So, if we're already in town, where do we go to check in and at what time?
Yeah, if you're already in town, you can make your way to the ship at your leisure. You can arrive anytime. I mean, a lot of people arrive the day of and they arrive at the ship as early as 8 or 9 a.m. So
Okay.
you can arrive anytime that you would like. You know, you may want to wait till like 10 or 11 just to make sure your room is ready. But you can go check right in as early as you would like because most of the people before you are off really, really early because they usually all have early morning flights. So you can go check in anytime you'd like. Just go right up to the ship. It's really easy. You just walk right up to the ship. There'll be someone standing right by the door and they'll just welcome you in and
And
get
is
you
it
checked
pretty
in.
easy to find where the ship's docked?
It should be, but you should receive information on your documents of where exactly the ship will be. So you should have the docking information. So it
Okay,
should be
thank
easy to find it though. I mean, in
I appreciate
Amsterdam, it's very easy in Amsterdam. Everybody docks in one area in Amsterdam.
Mhm.
In other ports, like if you were going into Regensburg, it's a little bit more difficult, but Amsterdam, it's pretty easy. Everybody's kind of in one spot. So
Okay.
you can just ask them when you get to the port, say, hey, I'm going on this Viking ship, and they'll get you right to it.
Yeah,
Super. Thank you so
just so
much.
you know, Jim, in your documents, the port address will be there, and then like any taxi driver, they'll know exactly, you'll let them know you're going on a Viking cruise and they know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
Super. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Mary P. Dooley.
Yeah.
Hi, when we expect our airline tickets?
Effie, is that in their documents?
Yeah. So your airline tickets will be in your documents. Remember, nobody has airline tickets anymore. You'll have your record locator for your airlines, which you'll want to check in, 24 hours prior to your departure. But all of that will be on your documents that you should be receiving in a couple weeks.
Okay, a couple weeks from now is very close to departure day.
Yes, I spoke to Viking today and they are getting out the tickets as we speak.
Okay.
And you can also you should be able to see your flights.
Utah.
And if you go to myvikingjourney.com and put in your booking number, you can see your flights there as well. And you should have a record locator, and you can always go to the airline website directly and see all of your flights there.
Yes, that too. Yes.
Effie, also, I was wondering about the early signups for the various activities that aren't the everyday packages that you go on. Do you have a list of those things for us to sign up for? Or do we need to contact you before, or can we sign up right on the ship?
If you want to do one of the optional ones, the paid ones, I recommend that you do them in advance. Because if you really want to do it and you get on board, usually there's not an issue to do it, but I just don't want you to have a situation where the excursion is sold out. But I can get you, matter of fact, let me just write this down. And this is the Doolies, right?
Right, we'd like to do several of them, so I need to talk to you. Do you know if they still do the vinegar tour?
I don't know that. Do you know that, Mary?
I don't think they do. I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
That's a shame.
Okay, I will make sure that I get you a copy of those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mary, this is Kevin Moran and Val Moran.
Yeah.
We were unable to sign up in time for the Vienna bike tour. So our plan is to hire bikes ourselves. Do you know where we're docked at? So I'm trying to get a logistical location so we know closest bike shop.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Effie, I think we can call, we might be able to call reservations and see. Let's see if we can get it. It can change. So that's logistically a little bit of an issue, but
What
we can
I've
try to get the
seen,
docking station.
what I've
docking
seen
spot
is
for you.
the one I saw online said it was near Reichsbrook Bridge.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's still the same.
We can find out for you.
Yeah, and which stop is that again, Kevin, you were looking at? I'm just.
Yeah, this is Vienna, and unfortunately, like I said, the bike tour is booked up. So our plan is just to hire bikes ourselves to ride along the Danube. So I'm just trying to find our location so I know the closest bike shop to rent.
Okay, I can help you try to navigate that, not a problem. I'll look at that tomorrow and we get with you tomorrow for sure.
Okay, thank you.
So Effie, that question I think is relevant for many of us who are trying to do our own tours in Vienna since we have 2 days there. This is Arun, by the way.
Oh,
Arun.
hi, Arun. Uh-huh.
So I don't know if you gather a list of answers to various questions being asked, if there is a way to disseminate that information to all the cruise participants here, or you're going to send them as individual. If you have a mailing list, maybe you can include those in the mailing list.
Okay, so you want optional tours in Vienna?
No, I want to know the location where the ship will be docked in Vienna, so that if we are doing any tours, we know to find the tour with the best location with regards to where the ship is going to be docked.
Perfect. So Arun, just like Mary said, it's sometimes very tricky. Like I had a client that had some relatives that were going to be in Germany and he wanted to know Bryza where the ship was going to be docked. And I can tell you where they think it's going to dock, but it doesn't mean that 100% of the time that it's going to dock there. So I just don't want you guys to be upset that said Effie gave me the wrong information. I'm going to give you the best information that I know, what Viking is telling me, where the ship will dock.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Okay.
And with regards to the optional tours, is it different from what's already listed in the myvikingjourney.com, or is there some new ones?
No,
No.
I mean, you can always, look at booking, tours on your own, not with Viking. Again, the only thing that's a problem when you do that is if for some reason there's a problem on the river and they don't arrive at the time that your tour, you know what I mean, is saying.
Right.
My recommendation is to do everything through Viking when you have a situation like this on the river, because you just don't know what could happen. Something can get stuck in the locks or something, the river could be, they have to go a different way. So my recommendation would be always to book the excursions and the tours with Viking.
And you
Okay.
are correct that the what you see at myvikingjourney.com, those are the only tours that we offer.
Okay, well, that's
Yep.
good advice then, Effie. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I forgot that we are going in August and there could be places where the water is shallow and the boat can't go or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Has there been any trend on the river levels lately?
Nothing right now. I will tell you just so to set everyone's mind at ease about what happens if water levels are low. First of all, it doesn't happen that often. Keep in mind, we only need 20 inches, that's 20 inches of water to continue to sail. We have a very shallow hull, so we will travel as far as we can. If for some reason there's no rain for a month or 2 months, it has happened before. But if something should happen, so one question I asked Effie today in preparing for this, do you guys leave from Amsterdam or do you leave from Budapest? So this particular itinerary, we have one ship that leaves from Amsterdam and one that leaves from Budapest on the same exact day. They are sister ships and they will head towards each other. Now, if something should happen along the way and the water gets too low, there's a reason we have one leave from each departure.
Usually.
And that is, if something should happen, we will have you pack up your things and then you'll go off and do your tour for the day. We'll put you on a motor coach. You'll go down the river just a little bit and you will show up at a ship that looks just like your ship, except the name on the outside looks different. You'll walk on that ship. Your program director that's meeting you will be the same program director, but your crew might look a little bit different because you are now on a different ship. So basically, the ships that were headed towards each other on the part of the river that there was a problem, they turned around. And so you went from one ship to the other ship. So that's what we do it. It's called a ship swap. It doesn't happen that often. I think that the percentage is 2% of guests are affected by it, but we always have a plan. So there's always a plan. If that should happen, you will continue on and continue to do all of your tours.
Mary or Effie, this is Val Moran. Some of the tours are booked, as we talked about with the biking. The wine one, and I forget where that was. Is it something that is totally full? You can't possibly get in at all?
We would have to see what's showing up, if it shows that it's full or not. I'm not sure for this particular.
No, it does say that it's full. I just didn't know if,
then it most likely is. I mean, it could open up. People do cancel from time to time once they get on board. So it could still open. A lot of times, sometimes people will book things and then they get on board and they're like, well, I booked too much, or I decided I want to do this instead. So it could open up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have a quick question about the ship. Does it take US plugs?
Yes. Yep, sure does.
Okay. All the plugs are US?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. And then the self-service laundronettes, they're free?
We do not have that on our river ships, just on ocean ships.
Okay.
Yeah. You can have them, you can send your stuff off. There is an additional charge, but the crew, they are able to send your clothes off and have them washed if you need to have them washed, but there is an additional charge for it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And Mary, the transfer from Budapest to Prague?
Yes. If you are doing the post extension, then they'll tell you what time you need to be off the ship, and they'll have you on a motor coach and take you over to Prague, to your hotel.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, sure.
Mary, this is David Peggy Wildrick.
Yeah.
I was just curious, this is the first time we've been over to Europe. So what are the typical amounts for tipping, like your tour guides, bus drivers, and that type of stuff?
Yeah,
Just have some idea.
It's really it really is at your own discretion. Effie, do you have anything in particular that you want to say? Because I might have a different idea.
So I can tell you what we typically do depending on the tour. And I don't know, again, it's at the discretion. Everybody always struggles with that amount. So I think it really depends on how good you think the tour guide is. I mean, we normally give $5 per person. So $10 a couple. I mean, that's what we do.
Okay, good. Thank you. Another question is just how, and I know this is kind of a loaded question, but how secure is the Wi-Fi that's on the ship?
That's a good question.
I don't know that answer.
I don't know that answer. Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, you have to log in. You have to log in with your assume, like with your information, with your name and your stateroom number, but I'm not sure.
I think Arun can answer that one better than anybody.
No, I was just saying, Peter, thank you for the confidence placed in me, but I would assume it's like any other public internet, little better than a Starbucks one, but if you're doing something sensitive, then it's always much better for your own protection to have some kind of a VPN software running on your device, so you connect through a VPN.
Yeah.
Something like NordVPN, or there are so many. There are at least a dozen VPN softwares available. A lot of them are free, and some of them are for a very nominal price. So if you're doing stock market transactions or banking transactions, I would highly recommend doing a VPN. But if you're simply browsing and you don't really care about your browsing history and all that, then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also take it, after we just received the packet today, that it's got, like you were talking about, those red tags and all that. There's really no Viking paperwork that we need to necessarily take to prove who we are and to get on the ship and all that, is there?
No. Once you get on the ship, they'll just ask you for your passport to show that you are who you say you are, and that's all there is to it.
Okay. That's all I got. Thank you.
Yeah, and the only other tipping is, on the cruise ship, and it runs about, it's very discretionary again, but it's about $20 per guest per day.
Right. And one tip I want to give all of you is we will automatically put the 20 per person per day on your on your account. I do suggest, if you were just going to let it automatically go on there, I do suggest prepaying your gratuities if you were just going to keep it at the 20 per person per day. And the reason why is that everything on board the ships is done in euros. If you do it prior to arrival, it's in USD. So it's better for you money-wise if you do it before you arrive on the ship.
And how do you do that? How do you do that?
Yep, that can be added on. Effie can get that added on for you. Yep.
Okay. And then the tipping for the tour guides, is that in dollars or euros?
Yeah, just have some euros with you.
Yeah, have the euros. Again, like the local guides are like $2 per person per day, but that's depending on if you're having, it seems so weird for me to give like €2 or a couple of, but some people do, you know what I mean? Like, so it's, it's again at your discretion. I'd say between $2 and $5, something like that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
This is Shauna. I have a quick question. Do you have any fitness center on the boat, or what do you have for exercise if you have time for it?
Yeah, no fitness center on board.
You're going to be doing so much walking, Shauna, you're not going to need any fitness center. I can promise you that.
Okay, just wanted to double check. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else, gang? We're super excited. You guys have almost taken over the entire ship, so it's going to be, great to have friends, that new friends that you might meet. It's going to be a fantastic journey for you guys. So if I'm going to double check, just so the list that my assistant sent out, and those who weren't on the call, we're going to send a recording. And Mary, if I feel like they wanted a quick one of these again, maybe schedule something because I leave for Iceland and I'm not back till August the 5th. So we have to do it before Thursday of next week. So
well, I am around. So just let me know even if it's just people want to pop on and just ask questions, I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Effie, this is Betsy. You said you have the documents. So we got like the bag tags, the embarkation tags, the little stickers. Do we expect anything more than that? Like just the ticket? That's it.
Nope, that's it. That's all you're going to be receiving, because everything is pretty much ticketless. Same thing with the airfare. You'll be able to go to My Viking Journey and get, or if you need another copy of your air schedule, I can get that for you. And then your replicator is on there.
I have to say Viking's been very good about getting me anything that I asked for. Been excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Good.
and I tell people they can book all their tours through the Viking site. So
Mhm.
Mary, apparently everybody some people have gotten documents and some have not. And I'd like to piggyback on Arun's idea of sending out an additional email or whatever method you might choose for the optional tours to each of the participants on the presentation today.
Yeah, not a problem. I will send it out to the group in general.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Effie, this is Kevin Moran again. Just to confirm, you're going to look into the docking location at Vienna?
Yes, I'm going to look into the docking. And you know what I was kind of thinking, because you guys are on Vienna for 2 nights, correct?
That is correct.
I don't have the itinerary in front of me, but I remember.
Yeah, 2 nights.
I might, Kevin, you and I can talk offline. I have an option of a bike tour that we can do the second day. You know what I mean? If you want, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
That's fine. And we're fine with renting our own bikes also. So
Okay.
but either case, that's fine. Thank you.
But can I jump in there? I would love information. I also wanted to do the electric bike tour and that sold out. So I would love to get some information on an additional option.
Yeah, absolutely, Shauna. I wrote your name down.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anything else before we close for the evening? Well, Mary, thank you
This is
so
David.
much.
I'd just like to say thank you.
Of course.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
And thank you, Mary, for taking the time to doing this. I know the group is going to have a fantastic time, and I appreciate Viking support on this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me know if we need to do any more Q&As before next week.
Okay, sounds great.
All
Good night, guys. Have a good afternoon. Or it's not even nighttime for you guys, so I mean it's getting there, but have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.